Hey, Jeff Brooks, Remax Orange Beach with the Gotti team here for your November Baldwin County real estate market update through October numbers. Let's jump right in. Interest rates up again this month from last month, about 0.35 percentage points. Heard this morning they may be going up slightly again above 7. We'll dive in on the next slide. However, the big story in this space, one of the unknowns, the elections, is past us. We're still watching spending, inflation, jobs, and world events. A bit of unknown gone, a little bit of settling in the market as we look forward. My prediction from July still holds. It's going to be next year before we see any appreciable decrease in interest rates. Pricing, sort of boring on the story on pricing and inventory. That's not a bad thing. We don't tend to buy or sell a lot when there's a lot of activity up and down in the market. When things settle in, people get comfortable and they start to buy and sell real estate. Back on the interest rate, that downward trend we saw, I think it reached a floor. We're stabilized around the 6 or above right now. Again, look for 2025 before we start to see any significant reductions. Had somebody ask me this morning, when are we going to see 3? If I had to guess, we'll never see 3 again in my lifetime. This one, again, not my favorite slide. Sort of the big thing is we did see more activity. I think, again, it goes back to that taking one of the unknowns, the elections, off the table. And that increased activity is showing here in a number of the segments being up. Median price, condos and townhomes, I think that trend is still down. We did have that pre-election pause that drove it way down. It sort of bounced back a little bit last month with that bit of activity as that settled in. And on the single family, that's a healthy market. Nice, steady, easy growth over time, just above 350 in this market. Inventory. Condos still up there. We bounced up again ever so slightly last month. We still have over 11 months supply, and I break it down by area there in the top left of that left side of the chart. And the inventory on the housing side, I think, is seasonal. Not as many residential people move outside of those summer months, so there's not quite as much activity, and certainly during the holidays. Last month, if you'll remember, I broke down the condos by price and location in a bit more detail. I decided to do a little bit deeper on the coastal homes inventory this month. You can see in Orange Beach homes, there's about 7.6 months supply with 199 for sale. Gulf Shores, just over 10 months supply with 179. And then Fort Morgan, 17 and a half month supply with 107 for sale. I hate to say it, but that clearly signals a gap in what buyers are willing to pay and sellers are willing to accept. And until something changes there, I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement. Price per square foot, again, I said boring. Things are fairly steady here. We're still seeing that downward trend. There were 100 condos and townhomes that sold in October. That's a little bit higher than we had seen the past 3 months. And on the right side, there's that stable growth again in the price per square foot for residential homes. So, boiling it down, if you're a seller and you've got a residential home, new construction is going to be the competition there for the foreseeable future. We are a growing county, one of the top growing counties, not only in Alabama, but in the U.S. That means big builders are going to be in here building houses. So you've got to decide, are you going to compete on quality because your home is so much better than a new home, or price, or some other factor? It's a complicated scenario. I highly recommend getting professional representation to help you through that. Rental properties, I still say keep renting if you can. If you really need to sell it, you're going to have to bridge that gap between buyers are willing to pay and what you want for the property. Again, look for a real estate person with some experience that understands the market and the numbers to help you through it. Buyers, we still have relatively high inventory. Take advantage of that. You know, and we have plenty of inventory. And if you need to move residentially, identify your key requirements and act. Waiting, as you can see from the increase in price per home, isn't going to help. As you can see from the interest rate trends, waiting isn't helping at this point. You know, identify what's important to you and move forward, and then you can adjust as the market adjusts. Take advantage of the new construction incentives. And I still think if rates drop, prices are going to increase faster than they currently are. And buyers on the rental, you know, leverage that higher inventory that I've shown you the last 2 months. There's plenty to choose from. You know, we've got to find a way to close that gap between, you know, what people want for the home, what it will generate in rentals, what insurance and other expense costs are to that home. And until that gap's closed, we're not going to see a lot of movement in that market. That's all I've got for this month. Would love to get your feedback, comments, and questions. Reach out through any of my social medias or at gulfshoresconnect.com. Have a great month. Talk to you next month.